Coming up on today's show.
You know what? We always have to remember that in those magazines, they're trying to sell something. They're trying to make you want something. They want you to be more organized.
Now, when you go in and meet with clients, do they often pull out a picture of a magazine and say, here's what I want my closet to look like, or here's what I want my kitchen to look like?
You know, sometimes people are going for the look initially, but then they realize to actually function well, things need to be it needs to be easy to maintain.
How to get your space to look like those beautiful magazine pictures. Today on Keeping You Organized. Hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Now, I know the tease said that we were going to get your space to look like those beautiful pictures you see on Pinterest and magazines and things like that. Well, I'm going to bust your bubble a little bit. We're joined by Amy Tokus from Omaha, Nebraska. And Amy, it's not real, is it?
Oh, no, it's not real at all.
Oh. Well, why do we see these why do they put these pictures together in magazines just to kind of deflate ourselves when we know we can't really do it?
You know what? We always have to remember that in those magazines, they're trying to sell something. They're trying to make you want something. They want you to be more organized. They want you to have a prettier space. They want you to buy a new rug or a new couch, you know, whatever it is, or a new countertop. Kitchens are huge because you see them and you're like, oh, I want a kitchen just like that. but the reality of that is that there's nobody cooking in that kitchen. So there's no living going on in those spaces.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of interesting. My kids, when we tell them to, clean up the kitchen or whatever, they go, well, why should I clean it up? It's just going to get dirty again anyway, so no reason to clean it up, right?
Totally. I'll show you a funny little thing right here. I have a picture of my closet. I'm trying to make it so you can see it.
Okay.
But this was taken for a magazine. I wrote an article about how to organize a closet and get it functional. And they came and took a picture of my new closet, which is, I love, but we had to stage it. And it is my closet, but this is not what it looks like every day. Okay.
And then they take about 3 or 4 hours to light it and to get it just perfect and move the little thing 1/4 of an inch so it's absolutely perfect.
Right. If you look at it, which I know you can't see too well, but I'll explain it. The top shelf is completely clean, which, if you have a horizontal surface in your closet, you're most likely going to keep things up there, right? Mm-hmm. Then all of the hangers are very nicely spaced, which gives you the image that, it's very organized, which, the hangers match, but they're not always very exactly spaced. Then on my shelves are these nice baskets, which I do have these nice baskets on there, but there's always things sitting around them, like little things that we take off. Like I was up there this morning getting ready, just looking and saying, what kinds of things are sitting around my baskets? So I could tell you, there was a lint brush, there was a belt that was worn, there was a hairband. There's all sorts of little things that just land there that we use all the time, because it's a nice horizontal surface. And then if you look at the floor, this is actually the funniest part, is there's nothing on the floor. Oh, yeah, I know.
Where's that garbage can? And where's the extra pair of shoes that don't fit on the rack and those things, right?
Or in our case, this happens to be my husband's side of the closet, so he doesn't know I'm going to share this, but he's got a pile of the Clerty clothes, the clean, dirty clothes that he wants to wear again are right there. So it's stuff like that. Now, this looks good for the magazine, but this isn't how we live. And I would never encourage anyone to try to maintain this, because then you're spending a lot of time making this space look perfect when it's not necessary. You have to live there. You have to enjoy your spaces.
Now, when you go in and meet with clients, do they often pull out a picture of a magazine and say, here's what I want my closet to look like, or here's what I want my kitchen to look like?
Yes.
And how do you bring them down off the mountaintop?
Well, we talk a lot about what they really are trying to achieve. Sometimes people are going for the look initially, but then they realize to actually function well, things need to be it needs to be easy to maintain. So, putting everything in containers that all match might look good, but then, say, example on your desk, having them put away in a container means that you're never going to get it out. And so, or you're never going to put it back. So when you have all of your office supplies up in this cute little container, instead of having a cup on your desk to hold them, means that you're less likely to get in to get it. And when you get it, you're not going to put it back away. So it might look pretty, but it's not going to be functional.
Well, what about, I'm thinking about your closet there. After they, packed up the lights and the cameras and moved out, did you go in and rearrange it so it could actually be used?
No, it just naturally happens. Yeah. The clothes, I did have to put some stuff back on the top shelf. Yeah. Because all that was sitting in the walkway, it was out of the space. And then, I don't think I had to do anything else. The other things just naturally happen through living and being in that space.
So let's talk about organizing a closet. And if you were to go in and someone's got a closet that's not working for them, what are the steps you take them through to get a practical, closet that can still look nice and organized, but is usable and not just there for photo effect?
Yeah. The very first step that a closet, we already know what a closet's for. So a lot of times the first step in organizing is having a vision for what you want the space to be. But in closets, we already know what it wants to be because it's a very defined space already. Mm-hmm. But cleaning it out, a lot of people look in their closet and they'll say, oh yeah, I wear all of that, but I want it organized. So that's fine. But usually when I actually help them start going through and looking at things, they start realizing, oh yeah, I don't use that anymore. Oh, that's too big. Oh, that's too small. I don't wear it. So closets, the cool thing about closets is you cannot create more space and more storage. It is what it is. So you have to only put in it what's actually going to fit. Mm-hmm. And so you have to clean it out. The first step is cleaning it up.
So what do? Just pull everything out and throw it on the bed and put it in piles or put light colors or what? I mean, what does that look like?
That really depends on the person in this case. I usually work with people on how they get ready in the morning. So, the first question is, how do you start your outfit? Do you start it with the pants? Do you start it with the weather? Do you start it with your shirt and then you go from there? Some people, crazy enough, may start with an accessory. They want to wear that nice necklace, so they build the outfit around it. So anyway, just figuring out how they usually start their outfits, and then we go from there. Then do you pick short sleeves versus long sleeves, or do you just say, I want a top? Do you say, I want a black top, or do you just want a top? It doesn't matter. Right. So it really depends on how they choose to get ready every morning. Everybody's completely different, and every closet should reflect that customization of how people process things. One of the things is some people think when we walk in, they're like, okay, I want everything color coded and blah, 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 blah. They have this whole system in their head of, I want color coded short sleeve, color coded long sleeve. Well, yeah. That's great. But when you're putting your laundry away, it's really a lot of thinking that has to happen to get everything where it goes. Right. So if you're doing that precise of an organization, then a lot of times what we see is when the laundry comes in, it'll all just get hung on the end and not put into the system. So the system starts not working anymore.
It's almost like they put it together by certain colors to make it look like one of those magazine pictures, right? Because they're always nicely organized.
That is exactly, you are spot on. The hangers, people like the hangers to match. That's beautiful. But yeah, they're trying to achieve something that is hard to maintain. Now, there are people, I have to give some people credit, that want to spend the extra time maintaining and getting things in color-coded areas, which that's great, but you just have to know if you're one of those people or not.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's probably a visual person who likes that kind of thing. I have to relate to that because I know I've done that in my closet before when I, maybe transition from, summer clothes to winter clothes. I move all the short sleeve shirts farther away and long. But then as long as I'm doing it, I try to get the colors. But yeah, that only lasts a few weeks because, it gets kind of messy there.
Yeah.
As long as we're in the closet, what is probably one of the most efficient ways to use space that you've seen? Let's say someone's got a smaller space. What are some of the tricks that you've learned, whether it be certain kinds of racks or things that will maximize, the space in a small area?
It so varies closet by closet because some people have lots of rods and not a lot of shelving, or some people have more shelving and not enough rod space. So it's just finding that balance that works for people. Containers are really nice in closets. If you have shelving space, just buying matching baskets or containers will make the space feel so much cleaner. Like example, on my top shelf in my closet, I have matching containers that go all the way around to contain off-season clothes. So when you look at it visually, it looks nice. Whereas if you just folded the clothes up and stuck them up there, it would look like everything was going to fall on you when you came in. So containers like that are just nice if you have shelving. If you have more rod length or rods going around and you need some spots more shelving, those sweater hangers, I don't know if you know those, they're like cubbies that you can fold clothes and put on them. Those are really nice just to give you some horizontal surfaces to lay things on.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about the reality versus just the idea of the concept of that kind of spaces that we see in a magazine or on Pinterest and we really want for ourselves, but it really isn't practical. So we're talking with Amy Tokus from FreshlyOrganized.com, certified professional organizer, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking to get your office organized but don't know where to start? And what can you really do to keep your office organized? Smead has put together a new ebook to help you answer these exact questions. We've compiled the best tips from professional organizers around the country to help you tackle the most common office organizing challenges. Go to smead.com/office organization and get your free copy today. That's smead.com/office organization. The new organization for the office ebook from Smead, keeping you organized.
We're back now on Keeping You Organized, trying to deliver the promise of those pretty pictures you see in the magazines and trying to get you to get a space in your house, whether it's a kitchen or a closet or a living room or whatever, to make it look like that picture. But in reality, it's not going to work out because you have to live there. We're joined by Amy Tokus from FreshlyOrganized.com. And Amy, let's get back into this concept of reality, versus these idealistic kinds of pictures. Maybe let's move to another room of the house. We talked about the closet. What are some of the other big promises that these pictures give us in other areas of the house?
I would say the kitchen.
Okay.
The kitchen is the biggest kicker of all because there's so many pictures of people cooking in their kitchen, and there's so many pictures of people selling cabinets and countertops and an appliance, and the one appliance will be sitting in the kitchen and the rest of the countertops are completely cleared off, so it looks beautiful sitting in that pretty kitchen.
Right.
And the biggest challenge is that is a space where we live so much in the kitchen.
Well, don't you think that part of it is not necessarily how you set it up? I'm sure that's what you do, but what do you think about a routine or a system for keeping it at least tidy and clean? What kind of tips do you have on that?
Yes, you're completely right. Setting it up is part of it, but having a daily maintenance. So every evening after dinner, you get the whole family together to go through the whole kitchen or gathering area, whatever it is. And someone sweeps, someone wipes the counter, somebody puts all the papers away, somebody, everybody's got a task and they get it done and it's done. And then you wake up in the morning to a clean kitchen, kind of like the magazines. But except you have to understand that your kitchen space, you're actually living in your kitchen space. So the newspaper might be sitting there. You may have some school papers that need to be returned. Oh, and the mail is going to come in. So you have to remember that. Okay, whenever I get the picture a lot of time of the kitchen. Yes. And I'm always like, so here's the reality. All those things are coming in. That picture is staged. There's nobody cooking. There's no mail in that space. There's no homework coming into that space. There's absolutely nobody living in that space. It's just there to look good for the picture.
And if you wind it out, you see it was in a studio. It's not even in a house, is it?
Right, completely. And the food is sometimes fake sitting there. Yeah. So you have to embrace the living that you are going to have. And remember, if you're trying to achieve that, sometimes you're creating an atmosphere in your home that's not very fun. Because if it's constantly on your mind that your kitchen or your home needs to look like these pictures, then you're probably yelling at people and getting mad at people and just creating an environment that's not comfortable and homey. So that's kind of the reality versus the high expectations or the unrealistic. We have to be able to live in the spaces and enjoy the space.
And guess what? We have these little people called kids who are supposed to be helping us. I don't. In our house, we have they don't want to use it, but we have a checklist, and we have a phrase. Make it look like a model home. So your kitchen cleaning is done when you've checked all the things off, and of course, yeah. I don't know if other people use it, but it's like take the wipe the counter, put away this, put away that, and then you get pretty close. Do you ever start when you've first organized a space for someone and you got to that point and you take a picture of it and say, okay, now remember kids, this is what it's supposed to look like when you're done, Yeah,
that's a great idea if you can get them to follow that.
Yes, no, yeah. That's a whole nother podcast episode on getting kids to do chores.
That's called controlling. That's called controlling your children.
Yes, yeah.
But that's good. A checklist is huge, especially for kids. Using checklists to clean. I have created many checklists over the years for my kids of, okay, you need to clean the bathroom. That includes this, 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 this. Okay, now you can go do it. So they have, because no fault of their own, they don't see the dirt like we do, number one, and they don't have the attention to detail like we do. So they forget that there's a toilet in the bathroom.
Yeah, I forgot that I was supposed to clean the toilet in the bathroom, right?
Oh, there's a dirty mirror. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even see all that toothpaste on the mirror. So having checklists like that is huge for getting that done. And you can do that in the kitchen too, if you need to have that checklist of here's all the tasks that we want to do every evening when dinner's done. So we have a nice, organized, clean space.
What are some storage or tips for the kitchen? I know we have a whole other podcast on kitchens with you, which people can find out at smead.com/podcast. But what are some either little kitchen hacks of keeping certain things? Like, for example, the mail. How do you deal with the mail so it just doesn't end up on the counter?
Okay, so number one, you sort through it right by the recycle bin. Okay. Because the portion that's recyclable and just trash, just get it out of here. Then number two, you can open it, get it out of the envelopes, and then sort it according to whatever the next action is. That is really huge. If it's a bill to pay, it's to pay. If you want to read it, put it in a pile to read, and then just go on from there. Okay, if it's an RSVP, put it in an action to decide or to RSVP, whatever it is. But focusing on whatever the next action is and having all of your actions together. So all of your bills to pay would be all together. All of your to read, you get those newsletters, magazines, you have them all together. So what this creates is it makes it easy for you to actually do the next step. Instead of sorting through the pile to find all those things you want to read, which is what a lot of people do, they just pile it up and set it aside. You have a collection of it. You can put it wherever works best for you. I like those open hanging file boxes in the kitchen just for those things that you're saving for the next step. Right. So your pile to read, if you're going to the doctor and you're going to be in his office waiting for a few minutes, you can grab that pile, stick it in your bag, and then you have something to do in the waiting room.
Awesome. Well, we're just about out of time. Before we finish up, I want to give you the opportunity to tell people a little bit about Freshly Organized, your business, and what kinds of work you do. Do you work just there in the Omaha area? Do you do virtual? And how do people get a hold of you?
Oh, well, thanks for asking this information. It's freshlyorganized.com. We do work primarily in the Omaha area, but we do have some virtual clients that I do over the computer and through FaceTime. I have through video because I like to see the faces. And then we have a team of organizers here in Omaha. I have 2 other people that work for me as professional organizers. So we encompass family organizing, we encompass businesses and offices and garages. We do just about everything here.
Awesome. And you're not doing the bait and switch where you're showing people the ideal picture and saying, we can get this for you. You're being real with them, right?
No, we're being very real. And we don't even do before and after pictures because, number one, we don't like to share people's pictures of their stuff.
Yep.
But number 2, our pictures sometimes don't look like the magazines because they're very functional spaces. Right. And we know that, we just make the spaces work.
Awesome. Well, Amy, thanks so much for coming on again, and I'm sure we'll have you back to talk more reality in Organized.
Great.
So,
thank you so much for having me.
You bet. It's Amy Tokus from FreshlyOrganized.com. Now you've got the perfect picture, but it's a real picture, and now go get those spaces organized. Thanks, and we'll see you next time on Keeping You Organized.
Coming up next time on Keeping You Organized.
So, getting organized to do your spring cleaning, it starts with cleaning out your cleaning closet.